It's Resin Day. It's Collab Day. The very first time I am hosting a resin collab. Now, the theme of this collab is rep where you're from. And in case you don't know, I am from the M in the DMV. Now, depending on who you ask, they might say I'm from the D, but get your mind out together. So the D in DMV is the District of Columbia, aka Washington, D.C. The M in DMV is for Maryland, and the V in DMV is for Virginia. Now, let me break this down to you. I was born and lived in DC up until I was in elementary school. My first memory of being in a Marylander was when I was in kindergarten. But yeah, I've never lived outside of those two states. Whereas my siblings, they move around. I when I left my childhood home, I lived like right up the highway from it. I'm now 20 minutes away from both my childhood home and my previous home. Okay, so let's see. You know how New York is broken down into boroughs? Maryland is broken down into counties. So I'm going to put a map of Maryland and the various counties in Maryland. I live in Prince George's County, aka PG County. Whew. Virginia kind of got some counties too, but I don't. So Maryland is best known for their Chesapeake Bay crabs. Okay? So today, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a crab in resin. So all of the ladies have to create a piece repping where they're from. I'm going to do a crab with a little Maryland twist. Uh-oh, what did I do with my twist? One moment. Okay, I found it. So I'm going to pop in the Maryland flag. So we're going to use this blue, this red, scarlet red, and I need to grab an orange. I'm going to get this reddish orange and add with this red for my crab legs. And I am going to use the Mattel's pigment paste. So these two are Rolio, and this one is HTV Ront. I think that's how you say it. So throughout this video, I'm going to throw up some things about Maryland for you. I might even throw a few things about DC. I don't know. But yeah. Oh, let me let y'all know something. Although Baltimore County is in Maryland, it is one of the counties included in the Maryland, and Baltimore is in Maryland. We do not claim Baltimore, and they don't claim us as part of the DMV. Okay? The DMV are the things that you can get to on the metro. Okay? And although that is currently changing, and when I say changing, I mean metro is going further out into VA. Loudoun County, hey. But it's still, you still gotta get on the MARC train to go to Baltimore. MARC train, aka Amtrak. So yeah, we not connected like that. And when people tell you they live by the harbor, you do have to actually ask them which harbor, because we have our own harbor in PG County. It's called the National Harbor. Okay? Baltimore Harbor is completely different. That's a beast of a different color. You know, we do have the Tanger outlets close to our harbor. We do have the Ferris wheel at our harbor in PG County. You know, what else? The Awakening statue is at the National Harbor. It used to be at one of our beaches. Wasn't it Sandy Point? I think it was. But yeah, it's no longer there. So, what do you want to know about Maryland? So, let's get started. I'm going to mix up some resin. I am going to put some clear in here. I'm going to work on the claws, but because on the claw, on the crab, even before it's cooked, the claws, the tips are red, pinkish, whatever. So I'm gonna have to mix this up and then brush that on there so I can make sure you're getting just the tip. Keep it clean. And then I'm gonna come back in and add my blue layer to this, and then on top of that add the white to polish that off. That's what we're going to do. All right, hold fast and let me get my brush. So let's talk about the state capitals. DC technically isn't a state, like I stated before, but it, because it's not a state, it is the nation's capital. So it doesn't have a capital. It's broken down by southeast, southwest, northeast, and northwest. Now, when it comes to Maryland, Maryland's capital is Annapolis. Now, you can go to Annapolis and you can still see the cobblestone streets. You can have, there is some legislation done there. They have a good mall. It's always a good mall. But I can't tell you the last time I stepped my foot in a mall. Virginia, its capital is Richmond, which was designed by, who was that? Thomas Jefferson, I think it was. Also, it is full of history. Richmond is a significant inland shipping port. So that is a little bit about each of the states when it comes to capitals. Let's see, what else could I tell you? Okay, so we're done with that. Let me get a wipe. And some alcohol. I can't wait to see what the other girls do to rep where they're from. And let me tell you, when I told Leo about the collab, he had an idea for both Parker and Nikki. So I'm curious to know where they came in at on what he was thinking. So let me go ahead and get my resin mixed up, put it in the bubble remover, and we'll be back. Okay, so I had to do an experiment first because I coated this. I'm just trying to make sure I got the best result, and if I can just go in with the next color. So I did a little vase. I coated it with the same color that I used here. And then I went in and poured the blue to see how it would look. And this is how it would look. And that's not the look we're going for. So the only way I can think of doing it is taking my leftover pigment, adding some resin to this, pouring that, and putting it in the curing machine for a little bit to solidify, and move from there. As long as I at least get enough in here to show the pigment that I want, it's okay to go back in with the next layer of the blue. I just don't want the blue to darken the whole thing like it did here. Because if you take the actual colors blue, red, and orange and mix them together, you will get something in the brown family. And this is kind of giving me a copper look in front of the blue. So that's the plan. And I'm going to try to stick to it. Because I only mixed up a little bit to make that test. And so now I'm going to actually mix up the actual resin. Okay, so I just wanted you all to know where the crab mold came from. If you remember back in my April resin mold box subscription, I got the crab. And what I do like about this is they give you separate measurements for the top and the base. So I don't have to try to figure out how much is for which piece when I make the 245. So it's easier to pour in what I needed specifically for the crab versus eyeballing it or using alcohol or water to measure it out. I just wanted to share that with you while I wait for my resin to mix. I had to let it stop. Well, it stopped, but I have to mix it more, but it's so loud. I just said I'll wait for it to stop and tell you that. Okay, so I am back. I'm going to pour the claws first. See? It's not tilted enough. Alright. I'm going to have to try to get that out. Okay, how do we get that out? A pipette. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it all out. But it's nature, so nothing is perfect in nature, right? Just like flowers. I'm happy with that. And then I drop more back in when I put it down. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Let me see if I can get a, hold on now, get that bobble. And I don't want to keep spraying because that's going to leave the residue, well, not residue, it's going to leave the alcohol on top. Let me leave stuff alone. Let me leave stuff alone. All right, so I'm done with that for now. Hopefully it doesn't cure by the time I need it again. All right, so then we're going to go in with the clear. And dark on it. Oh, that's a star. I thought it was a hair. Okay. All right, so okay, pull this in. And I'm going to wait, let this get tacky. And then I'm going to put this lid on, cut it off a little bit, and hopefully I can do the next layer before that cures in that cup. Be back. Okay, so I didn't make it before that cured in the cup, but I mixed up a little bit more. I've already placed my what's that called? Flag in, so I'm going to go ahead and pour the blue. Now I hope, hold on now. Let me figure that out. Hold on. Okay, so I was able to get the bubbles out of the side. Hopefully there aren't any that I missed because of the shimmer, it's harder to see. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to get these the rest of this poured up. For a minute I thought that was the top, so ew. And this doesn't have to be full. Just colored. Because I do have another layer, which is the white. All right, so I'm going to put the lid. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit, just in case some bubbles were still in there, and I can get them to rise, light them up, pop them. Okay, it's time to demold everything. Kind of got a sneak peek of what that's going to look like. So let's start with the crab body. I feel like I'm really opening a crab. Okay, so that's the body. Oh my goodness. I really don't want to have to use something. Oh, please. That was hard just to even get that off. All right, so let's finish going around. Okay. I have some micro bubbles, but it's not bad. It's not, I mean, it's the ocean, you know what I mean? So this is the piece. Now we're going to go ahead and do the eyes. Now, actually, on the crab, the eyes are like right in here, not up at the top. I like it. I like it. All right, so hold fast. Let me get some markers. Okay, so their eyes are like they're black. They're like a blackish gray kind of thing. We're not gonna do your typical white eye, even though that's how they have it on here. We're gonna be real with it. It's gonna be gray. It's like a grayish black. But I never looked at them while they were alive, so the eyes, that is. I hope you all have enjoyed this collab. A little break from nails for you all in the collab arena. Next time, hopefully it'll be bigger. More people will join or even start doing them. I was gonna do the stars, but yeah, that's not part of. That's not really part of the flag. That's just actually in the mold. But stay tuned for some Maryland. I'm sorry, some DC, Maryland, and Virginia. You know, tidbits, if you will. Fun facts. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Click on your post notifications so you'll be notified of any and all videos. Keep your imagination bright. See you in the next video. I'm struggling. What's next? The Jefferson Memorial, the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, and Franklin Roosevelt Memorial are all off the tidal basin. Now, this is the National Mall. Now you have the Washington Commanders home team of DC. Now this is the National Harbor, taken probably from Woodrow Wilson Bridge. This is the Awakening statue at the National Harbor. The Washington Commanders Stadium is in Landover, Maryland, in case you didn't know that. This is one of many wineries in Virginia. The Commanders Training Camp is also in Ashburn, Virginia. They are the true DMV team, but hey, go Birds.